Well, hello, welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. My name is Holly and this is Life After 45. Today we are talking about the 10 worst skincare trends. So let's jump right in. So the first trend that I think is just not good is calling things Botox in a bottle. It's very popular right now. It has been for the past couple of years, and they're usually referring to Argireline, which is a really great peptide, but nothing is going to freeze your muscles like Botox. That being said, I will say The Ordinary's Argireline, when I do mix it with Matrixyl, I will say that when I have Botox, which I am Botox free for the past 2 years, but when I was getting Botox and then I was also mixing Argireline with Matrixyl, that, just anecdotally for myself, I can tell you would make the life of my Botox last longer. It lasted many months longer than it normally would. So I will give it that. However, it's not this immediate effect that social media is having you believe. Like, I've seen the videos where the girl will show like her crepey skin or her 11s, and then she puts Argireline on it, and in 2 weeks, the wrinkles are gone. Simple hydration sometimes can plump up and smooth out lines, but to call it Botox in a bottle is just not factual. Now you might say, Holly, but what about the Peter Thomas Roth, I believe it's instant FirmX eye treatment that's going around? And again, I would say there is no such thing as Botox in a bottle, but this probably comes the closest. Again, it is a very temporary effect. It has that because of the silicates in the floor, and that gives the skin a very taut appearance. But again, that is a very, very temporary fix. So yes, there are some products that can smooth the skin, make it look a little bit more taut, but if it sounds too good to be true, then it probably is. The next skincare trend that I think is just not the best is children starting full-on skincare routines extremely early. I'm talking 8, 9, 10-year-olds are having these full-blown skincare routines with adult-focused products, by the way, which is possibly going to cause dryness and irritation. And those products are not made for children's skin. It's one thing to teach your kids healthy habits, and certainly a skincare routine is very important. Maybe start out with just face wash and some sunscreen, making that important. Maybe as they start to get a little bit older, into like preteen, teen years, maybe start some moisturizer or like a serum. But this thing where these children are doing these full-blown skincare routines is just absolutely crazy to me. So I think that is well-intentioned. Yes, we want to teach them healthy habits, but it's just a little bit out of control. And again, adult products on children's skin is not appropriate. The third skincare trend that I think is a terrible idea are the DIY sunscreens. Sunscreens go through rigorous testing, right? And when you are doing a DIY at-home sunscreen, obviously they're not going through the same testing. There's no way to know what SPF it's going to be. It's just a bad idea all the way around. So I would say skip that. Just pay the $10 to $15 on a good Korean sunscreen. That's always my go-to, is a Korean sunscreen. I think they're fantastic. If you don't like that, then choose one of your choice. But most sunscreens will run you $10 to $15, and they're going to be reliable as opposed to a do-it-at-home yourself sunscreen. The fourth trend is being convinced that everybody needs to be using the same ingredients. For example, tretinoin, vitamin C, niacinamide, castor oil. While these are all great ingredients, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that everyone's skin is going to react the same way. So tretinoin, yes, again, I highly recommend you get a vitamin A, some sort of derivative of vitamin A. I think that's fantastic for the skin. But not everyone can handle tretinoin 1%. Maybe they need tretinoin 0.025%. Or maybe they can't handle tretinoin at all. Maybe they need to try retinol or a retinol. It just varies for everyone. Same thing with vitamin C. Maybe not everyone can handle an L-ascorbic acid. Maybe they need one of the other derivatives that are a lot gentler on skin. Some people can't handle niacinamide. My skin does not react well with niacinamide. But we get in our heads that because someone has told us, oh, you need to try product ABC or ingredient ABC because it does all these amazing things. And we get in our head that we also need to be doing that, and that our skincare is no good if we're not using those certain ingredients. But the truth is, it's not universal for everybody. Everybody's skin reacts differently to every ingredient. You have to consider your skin and your skin issues or your skin needs, and that's going to vary from person to person. I always say pick 1 to 2 things you want to focus on with your skin and find ingredients that address those specific issues, and find ingredients that your skin likes. Just keep in mind that all these ingredients that people are raving about on social media may not be for you, and that's okay. Trend number 5 that I think is a terrible trend is just letting anybody inject your face with something. Listen, this is your face, this is your skin, this is very delicate. Yes, someone may have gone through a training program or even a school. I'm an esthetician. I have my esthetician's license. I'm not trying to be negative towards anyone or anything. Heck, even a plastic surgeon may not be that great at injecting. You've got to do your research. Just because someone says, oh, I'm a nurse and I can inject, doesn't mean they should be. You can ask to see their portfolio. You can ask around, read reviews. Just do your research, do your due diligence before you let someone get near your face with a needle. It's your face. This next skincare trend, I haven't necessarily heard like loads of people talking about this, but I have come across a few, and it is using canola oil on your face. This is very new to me, so I don't know if this has been around a while or what, but I don't think this is necessarily the best idea. There's many other oils that are better for your face. It could be jojoba oil, it could be castor oil, it could even be grapeseed oil. Castor oil has a very high, I can never say this word right, comedogenic, meaning it gives a high possibility of causing acne and clogging pores. Also, canola oil is very high in omega-6 fatty acids, which could mean that it's going to possibly cause some inflammation and disrupt the skin barrier. That being said, it does have some decent moisturizing factors to it. And for those that aren't acne prone, this may be an okay option. However, I feel that we should probably leave castor oil in the kitchen and off the face and lean more towards things that are more skin oriented, like the oils I mentioned earlier. Or if you want to use products that contain canola oil that have been purposed for the face as opposed to cooking oil. But again, you know, what works for one person may not work for the next person, may not work for the next person. You just never know. So I guess if you want to try putting canola oil on your face, you know, I guess you could give it a whirl and see what happens. I just wouldn't recommend it. Okay, the next trend, which I've seen on social media. I don't know if it's a joke or if people are really doing this to think they're going to get plump lips. I mean, they are getting plump lips, but it's using hot peppers to plump your lips. It's just wild to me that someone would even put themselves through this kind of pain. I don't even really care for the plumping lip glosses, but surely that's a better idea than sucking on hot peppers. It's just a bad idea. Yes, it's going to increase the blood flow as it burns the heck out of your lips. Hot peppers contain that ingredient I don't know how to say it, capsaicin or something like that. It contains that, which is what is going to increase that blood flow to the lips. And yes, it is going to give a plumping effect, but I just think it's not the smartest idea. Could possibly cause some allergic reactions. It's burning your lips. That's not really like exactly what we're trying to go for, you know, when we want plumper lips, not burned lips. Ultimately, I guess it's better than getting lip injections, which is a video for another day. Could even be more cost effective than getting a lip plumping gloss. If you want plump lips, try hydrating them using hyaluronic acid or peptides or vitamin E for nourishing, and try to get some hydration to the lips, which can also cause a more plumping effect, minus the burning. Okay, this next one are nasal tanning sprays. They also have tanning drops you can take, and I think this is just a very, very bad idea for multiple reasons. It does contain a synthetic hormone called melanotan, kind of mimicking melanin in the skin, which gives us our color to our skin. It's called melanotan, synthetically made. It's not FDA approved, which, I mean, whether that is or isn't reliable, it's also a video for another day. But it's not FDA approved. It's actually banned in many countries. And it's supposedly, you spray it up your nose or you take the tablet, and it's going to give your skin a tan internally to the outside world. And honestly, I don't even think it really does that very well. A lot of people say it turns them orange. And it has a lot of side effects. It can make you very sick. It can give you nausea and vomiting. Along with it can do liver damage. So I just think skip it, stay away from that. Find, if you have to be tan, which honestly, pale skin is beautiful. But if you just feel like you really, really need to be tan in order to feel a certain way about yourself, get a tanning lotion, get a tanning spray. And if you say, but there's so many chemicals in those things, that is true. But there are some healthier tanning sprays and tanning lotions. I will try to link some below. And I would just say go that route if you really, really feel that you need to be tan. It also contains dihydroxyacetone. Hopefully I said that correctly, which can cause free radicals to form. Just not good. That can cause premature aging. And the other thing it can cause, this is funny, can cause acne and also spontaneous erections. Yeah, you heard that right. Also with these tanning sprays or pills, they only last as long as you continue to take them. Once you stop, then the tan goes away. Okay, the next trend is starting Botox way too early. Preventative Botox, I do believe in, don't get me wrong. I wish I had started it much, much sooner. I feel that had I started that sooner and also taken better care of my skin with sunscreen, things like that, and keeping it moisturized and being hydrated, I think that also would have helped. But I do think had I started Botox much, much sooner, like in my early 30s, I probably wouldn't have as much crepiness as I have because I'm very expressive when I talk. I squinch my face up a lot. I try not to do that anymore, but I've historically always done that. And I do feel that preventative Botox is a good thing because it's going to stabilize those muscles so that when you do squint, it's not going to create those wrinkles over and over and over again until they're just set in your skin. Does that make sense? However, I do think people are starting preventative Botox way too soon. I've seen girls 19, 20 getting Botox way too soon. Now, while there really hasn't been any research that I've come across, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know of any, that says there's negative side effects to starting Botox super young, I feel that it's just pretty darn pointless. Your skin in your late teens and your early 20s, mid-20s, it is young and youthful and bouncy, and it just naturally is those things. And as you age, that's when things start to decline a little bit. When you're young, your skin elasticity is still very, very high. And that begins to decline as you age, as does collagen. By your late 20s, early 30s, your collagen starts to decrease 1% to 2% each year. So starting your Botox way too soon is a waste of money. It's rather pointless. Wait until your late 20s, early 30s to start getting preventative Botox. That's when it's really going to pay off. I have read some research that says when you start Botox super young, it leads to a hyper focus on the external appearance. Now, we're all bombarded by that all the time, you know, whether it's social media, whether it's TV, whether it's magazines. You know, it's just gotten worse and worse with the rise of social media. And then if you add in the early preventative Botox, you are going to be very focused on your skin and your outward appearance. So it can increase that obsession with the outward appearance. And we don't need any more of that. Most of us are already too concerned for our own good. And it's just going to feed that negative self-image. And again, most of us don't need extra help with that. Okay, and the last trend that I think is absolutely terrible is the buccal fat removal. Please tell me we're done with this. This was a thing a couple of years ago that was very, very popular, and I never understood that. Guys, you need the fat in your face. As you age, you start losing that, and that's something you want to hold on to. Don't have it removed. You will severely regret that down the line. We start getting gaunt and hollowed here. It's just what happens in the natural aging process. And as you age, you're trying to hold on to that fat in your face, not get rid of it. And part of what gives that youthful appearance is that plumpness to the skin. That's what we're all, as I said, as we're aging, that's what we're all striving for. If you feel like your face is too large or too fat, and you feel like, oh, I really need to get this fat removed, just pause, take a beat for a minute, and let me tell you, just invest in a good contour stick. And if you don't know how to do that, there's 1,000,001 YouTube videos you can look up on tutorials on how to do that. And it would amaze you what contouring can do for the face. A lot of times celebrities are getting surgery, but sometimes they just have really fantastic makeup artists that know how to contour, and it can make the biggest difference in your appearance. So I would say skip the surgery, don't get your fat removed from your face, and just get a good contour stick and learn how to contour your face, because that will do the trick. It'll not only save you money, but it'll also save your face. And that concludes this video. Thank you for watching. Those were the 10 skincare trends that I think are just terrible and we need to avoid. We need to move on. We need to leave those things in the past, and hopefully we have. Let me know down below if you've done any of those, or if you had thought about doing some of those and now you've changed your mind. And I will see you guys in the next video. If you haven't subscribed yet, come on, what are you doing? Come join us on our little tiny family here on the internet. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!